My name is Myles Metkowski. I am the executive director and founder of a new nonprofit organization called M2H Mental Health. We're a nonprofit for men's mental health.
Can you tell me a little bit about your own mental health journey?
Sure, yeah. For me, it was growing up, I really didn't struggle a ton within my own mental health until probably around my sophomore year of college. I'm still a pretty young guy. I'm 24, so sophomore year for me was COVID times. So at that time, I was in my own place, and my roommates were kind of gone for the most part. And I wasn't really talking with anybody. Wasn't really going to the gym. Wasn't really going out and doing anything. And I kind of started to struggle a lot with the basic kind of depression and loneliness that I know a lot of guys seem to struggle with. And I did what most guys do, is I didn't really talk to anybody about it. I kind of just let things go and move forward, and didn't really see any changes, and my life was not very happy, and it was probably one of my more difficult times in my life, I would say. I did that probably for a year, where I just kind of sat in it and didn't really do anything, didn't really change anything about my life. And like I said, that year was horrible. And I finally just kind of started to talk to one of my roommates about mental health and certain things that I was going through, and started to talk to other friends about this type of stuff, and just being open with my experiences and how things were going and stuff. And it really helped me a ton, which I didn't really expect much out of it, but I learned that, talking with people about that really makes a big difference. But during that time, I did kind of realize that I was kind of blessed to have these friends around me that I felt like I could trust and talk to, or family that I felt like I could trust and talk to. And I started to realize that there's probably thousands and thousands of guys out there that don't have somebody within their support system that they feel like they can talk to. Even their friends, they might feel like they might get made fun of, or their family, maybe they're not as close to, and which kind of brought me to wanting to start up M2H Mental Health. Is I thought these guys might just need a helping hand or someone to talk to when things are going tough. And so at that time was my probably junior-ish year of college, and I started kind of writing up what this thing would look like, the business plan, and just the basic rundown of things. And kind of had to kind of put it to the side for a little bit, because I still had a lot of college to go through. But after I graduated, I kind of came to that decision of looking at getting a job, and or maybe possibly starting up this organization. And I kept seeing things online with guys struggling about it, and suicides, and just seemed like the world was almost kind of calling me, in a sense, to really get this thing going. And so I started kind of just going at it full time, and I worked on it for about a year and a half or so, just kind of learning about nonprofits, learning about mental health and men's mental health specifically. And then we just recently launched here in March of 2024. So that's kind of my story behind it. One of my main reasons, there's a lot of reasons, of course, for why I really wanted to start this, and I'm sure there's a lot of other things I could talk about in my own mental health journey. But yeah.
So can you tell me a little bit about what you do with M2H Mental Health?
Yeah, so like I said, we are pretty new, but we did launch our first service here in March, which is a chat service, a free thing where guys can come in from anywhere, and they can talk with people on my team, talk with people in the community, and kind of just, like I said, more support based. So we're not really diagnosing them clinically or anything like that. We're really just trying to give them a helping hand when things might be going in a rough direction, and hoping to kind of guide them in a way. And yeah, so far it's been fairly slow. We've been getting some people in, but I really believe that the more services, the more more support out there is really going to make a huge difference. And maybe if a guy doesn't want to go to therapy, or maybe he doesn't want to, call his buddy up, and maybe he feels embarrassed to do so, he can hop into a kind of an anonymous chat and talk about those types of things with us or people in the community. So I'm hoping that I can someday make a big difference, and there's a lot of ways that I'm hoping to expand with it down the road, maybe even having like a video call, kind of like how we're doing, or maybe in-person types of things. But I think it's a cool direction. I'm hoping that it can really make a difference here soon.
For me, I live with bipolar disorder too, and I wasn't diagnosed till I was 37, so much older in life because of that stigma and fear, especially as a guy too. Do you see people a little more open to speak about their feelings, that are your age?
I think that it is starting to become a bigger thing for like men's mental health and mental health in general is kind of starting to get talked about. I know that we can kind of look into your generation or later generations. It wasn't really a thing that was talked about ever, and that it's cool to see that people are starting to have their voice in it, because I don't think people always view it as like talking about your mental health isn't masculine or anything like that, and I don't think that's necessarily the route to take. I feel like even people that were, presidents of the United States have their person that they, go to for their big problems. Kings back in, years and thousands of years ago had their person that they had. They were going through something hard. I don't understand why people of this generation can't have, their friend or their guy or their service or support system that they can talk to when they're struggling with something or need help, or even just someone to vent to sometimes is really useful. So, yeah.
Yeah, how important is it to talk to someone with similar lived experiences?
Super important. I mean, I think connecting with people that is close with you and has those types of similar experiences in life is a huge thing. That's why I think even this online type of chat can be really useful, because you could connect with somebody who has bipolar. I have one of my good friends actually has bipolar, and I'm sure that you could connect with him on a lot of different things. If you guys were struggling in a certain area, I think that's really the best way to go about things, is people that have had similar experiences in the past, and you're able to connect with them through that way.
So I was looking at your website, and it's really well done, by the way, but you have a team with you. How does it feel for you to have people helping you with this mission?
I mean, I'm blessed to have those guys helping me. A lot of them on my team are really good friends of mine, and we have kind of came along and worked on this together for a long time. And I mean, it's amazing to kind of have those good friends with you that have the same values, have the same kind of goal, and want to work towards and make a real difference in the world. So in reality, I'm just thankful that they're there, especially being still a small organization like we are. It's hard to be able to find a lot of people to, put forth time and effort into something that who knows if it's going to ever work out. There was a long period of time where, my team was just kind of working on things with me here and there and trying to help out with things, but we weren't even really up and running yet. We weren't really seeing any progress or anything, or any supporters yet. So it was almost like we were working in the dark for a while. And I guess all you can really say is like thank you to those people that are helping along in the journey. All of us are still volunteers for the most part within our organization, so all those guys are putting in couple hours here and there just to help out this organization. And it really means a lot, and I'm sure to other nonprofit owners or executive directors, they have those same type of people that really mean a lot to them as well.
Yeah, I saw you have now a advisory board. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah. So we have had a board for quite a while, actually. When I was when I was first really learning about nonprofits and mental health a few years ago, one of the first steps I saw was to build a good board surrounding around you. And initially, when I started looking into how to find board members and such, I was kind of like, oh, there's no way that nobody's going to want to, hop in and help this young 20-year-old guy, support his business and support his nonprofit. But I was surprised to see that there's a lot of people that wanted to support a men's mental health organization, and it's been amazing to have them come on with their wisdom and kind of intelligence and their experience in their fields. It's been really easy to kind of navigate areas and also kind of see areas that I might have failed in if I jumped into it right away. There were so many ideas that I had coming into it where I wanted to kind of start up a whole call system right away. There's so many things that I wanted to do right off the bat and make this big jump in the organization while they were kind of good at leading me to all right, let's find a way to just get this thing started, and then we'll slowly, make a move here and there, and make a difference here and there, and grow our organization that way. So their support has been amazing. I really couldn't have done it without them. Yeah, they're amazing.
What do you do to help your own mental health?
For me, there's a couple different things. I have always, one of the main things that within M2H in general, we kind of first take the more holistic approach of things, like fitness, eating healthy, getting outside. Those things right there sometimes can be just as beneficial to mental health as anything else. So I usually fall back on fitness. I've always been in the gym and kind of working out a lot, so that's kind of been my stabilizer in a sense. So if I find myself in a rut or something like that, where I'm kind of down or seemingly kind of depressed for a couple days or a week or whatever, my first kind of step is to get back in the gym, force myself to get in there, or at least get some sort of activity. Been a big golfer the last few years too, so that always kind of counts in terms of physical activity as well. But just getting yourself outside, getting yourself physically active, that's always been my step one. And then of course, starting to talk with others about it. I have a good friend who I kind of go to a lot for just voicing out what's going on in my head. It might not even be about my own mental health. It might just be about jobs or living situations or what you're eating on the day. But a lot of that can just help release kind of all that mental just kind of garbage that you got going on. At least that's one thing that happens to me, is I get all these things going on in my mind, and I can kind of release that to somebody, either online or to a good friend. So I would say those are my two first steps. And then third for me is always, I'm a Christian guy, so kind of get into the Word again. Reading the Bible or praying has always helped me as well. So I'd say those are my top three ways initially to kind of get back on the right track with my own mental health.
And you're early on in the nonprofit, in your nonprofit, but where do you want to see the next 3 to 5 years?
I mean, I truly do believe that this organization could really make a difference out there. I'm sure that a lot of people have started to see the statistics on suicide rates and just guys going through depression or this and that. And really out there, I mean, there's suicide hotlines, and there's therapy, and there's, small groups and stuff that guys come together and meet with, but there's really not too many organizations that I've found out there that are trying to provide a service that's specifically for men's mental health. And I think because of that, we can really make a difference, not only statewide, but in a nationwide sense, where there's thousands and thousands of guys within our chat, talking with each other, helping each other grow, kind of guiding each other into a good direction, really building a big community out of it. So I think that we can really become something special. I always have ginormous goals, so I always think that this could be, one of the bigger nonprofits out there, but we'll have to see where things go.
Yeah, I think so, because it's so important to get that message out of men have feelings too, and there's ways to get help.
For sure.
So how can people reach out and learn more?
Yeah, so right now our website's always a good resource, just www.m2hmentalhealth.com. Usually right when you hop in, you'll actually get a kind of a invite pop up to our chat, which is just on Discord for right now, which has been a good kind of provider, I guess, service place, but we think that it could grow into something different down the road as we get bigger. And then our social medias are all the same too, at M2H Mental Health. You'll see a lot of our posts or videos, or post a lot of, sometimes mental health tips, sometimes statistics, or a lot of different stuff here and there, which is good. On our website as well, we have a lot of tips and self-help resources and stuff like that would be great. So I would say those are the two main ways in terms of getting in contact with us. And yeah, we really want to be able to grow this chat and try and help as many guys as possible. There's so many guys who just don't do anything, don't talk to anybody about their mental health for so long, and it gets to that point where they're either suicidal or going through something really, really challenging. And in reality, we want to get guys into this chat talking about men's mental health and seeing the things that we're posting before they even have those thoughts. We want to be helping them, kind of guide them in the right direction before that happens, to really reduce those rates and such. So I would say those are the two main ways. We do have some events here and there, not any that are currently scheduled coming up. We did just have one in northern Minnesota recently, but that's another way. If you follow us on our socials and such, I'm sure that you'll see some of our upcoming events. Hoping to have quite a few in 2025, so I'm excited about that. Yeah, so there's always the in-person kind of route